While most of the Nintendo fanbase was losing their minds over Byleth joining Smash, Nintendo released one more Byleth-related trailer, Three Houses DLC Wave 4, Cindered Shadows. Not only did Fire Emblem fans have to process an 8th fighter from the series joining the Smash roster, they also had a new trailer, filled with new husbandos and waifus to gush over. Needless to say, I have been playing catch-up with all this new content to dissect and vent about. But with Byleth finally schooling students in Smash, I thought it was the perfect time to work on a new deep dive video for the Cindered Shadows trailer. I mean, it's not like I'm in a rush for time or anything. April is still a couple months away. I'll just take my time and go at a nice, leisurely February 12th! It's okay, I didn't need to sleep or eat anyway. Whether you're ready or not, Cindered Shadows will be here in a couple of days, bringing with it new students, paralogs, classes, and a side story. For a short DLC trailer, there is still a bit we can dig up here, especially regarding the 4 new students. So, in order to fuel my excitement, and because I like to torture myself, let's go on another Three Houses deep dive, where we uncover hidden secrets and clues, while also theorizing what the side story could entail. As always, I've taken the time to go over every frame beforehand to find the hidden gems. That way we can get to the good stuff. Before we go too deep, understand that I will be talking about spoilers for the main campaign. So if you haven't played Three Houses before, stay away. Using spoilers for this video feels like the best way to go about piecing together the deep dive puzzle. However, I won't be covering the recent data mine, mostly because I think that takes away the fun of analyzing a trailer. Please understand that I might say something contradictory to that leak, and if I do, feel free to correct me, kindly. The info I have before me is accurate as of February 3rd. And with that out of the way, get your diving gear ready. We're going deep.
Abyss is home to those who shun the light of day.
Let's start off by going over what we know about the Abyss. As the trailer opens up, Hilda explains that her brother heard rumors about a secret city under Garrick Mach, inhabited by shady people. In truth, this isn't the first time we've heard about the Abyss, as Intelligent Systems hinted at the underground town in the previous DLC update. You know, the one with the maid outfits. Best update ever. In that update, Anna finally becomes playable, and we get her description of Abyss, ancient sprawling remains below Garrick Mach. People have made their homes there for various reasons, which implies some voluntary decision to live in the Abyss. She also gives a warning to never go down there. You know, if Anna won't go down, there's something sketchy going down. Yet despite Anna's warning, the Abyss doesn't look like a terrible place, or at the very least any less sketchy than the church. Sure, it's dark, damp, devoid of all natural light, and probably reeks worse than the New York City sewers, but to some of these fine folks, it's home. Abyss, sweet Abyss. Still, you have to wonder why anyone would voluntarily choose to live here, besides Hubert. It's more beautiful than I could ever have imagined. According to the trailer, Abyss is home to those who shun the light of day, so maybe Bernadetta would like it there too. But I think that's a poetic way of saying those who deny or shun the church, and maybe even the goddess to an extent. If you want to go against the church's teachings, you're forced underground. Ironic considering the headquarters of the Church of Cerros is right above you. It also seems odd Rhea would allow anyone to live if they defy the church, but maybe they caught her in a merciful mood. Another thing to note are the kinds of people who end up in the Abyss. In one scene, the Ashen Wolves say the elderly, infirm, orphans, lost souls, and merchants make up a lot of the inhabitants. Quick minor thing, instead of lost souls, the Japanese says women who were thrown away. Not that it makes a huge difference, but I thought I'd point that out. Either way, it seems Abyss inhabitants are those whose society led by the Church of Cerros left to rot, instead of just being banished. I'm sure this means many in the Abyss despise the church for this reason, hence why the trailer says shun the light of day. But why are we even bothering with exploring the sewers of Garrick Mach? Unfortunately, that has been made entirely clear, but I do have some theories based on what we've seen so far. One possibility is, Rhea is too cheap to hire an exterminator, so she turns to her number one handyman, Byleth. Child, I have a new task for you and your students. You must travel deep below Garrick Mach and execute divine judgment on those who defy the goddess there. Whoa, are we talking sewers? Cause Byleth does not do sewers. It's gonna take a lot more than your sweet talk to get my students and I to do your dirty work. I'll join you for tea time if you do this. Where's the leak, ma'am? As much as I would love to see that interaction, Why would Rhea out of nowhere want the Abyss exterminated? Especially since the church believes the Abyss is needed for Garrick Mach to thrive, as it states in the trailer. She had years to do it, and according to a recent Twitter post, the Abyss is in relative peace at the moment, so I doubt they're bothering Rhea too much at this point. But you never know with psychotic people. Another more likely option is someone from the Abyss asked Byleth and the students for help. As I said before, the Abyss is in relative peace and harmony. But based on what a student says here, people from the surface keep disturbing that peace. So perhaps you were asked to purge any evildoers down below, and that is when you meet the Teenage Mutant Ninja students. At the same time, we see the three amigos fighting the Wolfpack during the trailer, implying some sort of confrontation between the two. Now, we could easily say this fight occurs at the beginning of the side story and call it a day. In fact, I probably should do that. However, the Trinity's unit class sticks out to me. Edelgard is a Fortress Knight, Dimitri is a Paladin, and you can make out here that Claude is a Wyvern Rider. These are all advanced classes in a side story that is supposed to take place sometime during Part 1. To me, that raises two possibilities. Either every battle featured here in this trailer takes place later in the side story, or you start off as an advanced class. Of the two, I think the latter is the most likely scenario. So, here's what I think. Someone invites you to check out the Abyss, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Wolves see you as a threat, you fight, they realize you aren't there to harm them, and then you offer to teach their class. Or I'm completely off. That works too.
We're a unique bunch from all walks of life. Once you get to know us, I'm sure you'll love it here.
At the Abyss, you'll meet 4 students of the Officers' Academy known as the Ashen Wolves. Basically a 4th house to teach, although not quite the same. Cindered Shadows takes place separately from the main campaign, going as far as to have separate save slots. This means you can't choose Ashen Wolves as your house during the main campaign. However, there will be some intermingling involved with the main campaign and the side story, but we'll go over that a little later. As such, Cindered Shadows will have a set party taken from the main campaign and added to the Ashen Wolves. These students are Edelgard, Dimitri, Claude, Linhardt, Ash, and Hilda. I imagine they will fill a role that the new 4 do not fill. Now let's go over the 4 new students, starting with the house leader. Yuri, or as Americans like to say, Yuri, is a former student at the Officers' Academy, but thanks to some certain reason, he was expelled and moved to the Abyss. Unfortunately, it's not clear right now how long ago that was, or which house he was a part of before expulsion. We also don't know his last name, which is the same case for a couple other wolves. He might seem indifferent at times, but he truly does care about the Abyss, calling it a nice place to live once you get used to it. He also has a calm, confident attitude around him, going as far as to say nobody will die while at the Abyss. In the Japanese trailer, he goes as far as to say he won't let anyone die, which sounds more like a death flag than anything. But of course, his greatest feature is his gorgeous face. Tremble in awe at his radiance that prompts all walks of life to ask themselves if they can obtain such beauty, or maybe ask him for some makeup tips. That said, I'm sure many from the surface are dying to know the answer to one specific question. Your makeup is fantastic today, Yuri. I love how the pink lipstick complements the purple in your eyes. Thank you, teacher. I do wonder if the purple eyeshadow was a bit much, though. No, not at all. You look great. Yuri, this might come off as a bit rude or inconsiderate, but I need to know. Are you a boy or a girl? Yes. There can only be one. Yuri's purple eyes do remind me of a certain best empress, if you catch my drift. Boa Hancock? What? No. Catherine the Great. Edelgard also has purple eyes, although maybe slightly lighter. Edelgard's uncle Arundel also has purple eyes, but Edelgard's father does not, meaning she probably got the purple eyes from her mother. It's possible Edelgard and Yuri are cousins through Arundel. However, basing my biological theories on eye color is flawed at best, so I'm not swearing by this. It's more like I'm thinking of the possibilities. Yuri seems to have a class unique to himself, one that is somewhat similar to the Assassin class. It actually looks quite similar to the Trickster class from Awakening, which could be cool to see appear again. I mean, just look at his pointy shoes! Oh my gosh, I love it! One unique power he has allows him to switch places with Ash, right next to an enemy golem, however you want to say it. Is this part of his class or a skill exclusive to Yuri? Guess we'll find out come February 12th. We also get a look at his crest thanks to a recent image on a Japanese blog post. The post censors the name, so we can't say for sure what the name is. However, I can confirm it is one of the 21 crests. Right here. It's a little hard to make out, but trust me, that's it. Having a crest implies Yuri is from noble lineage, albeit not a common one. With an air of nobility that would make the great Ferdinand von Aya green with envy. Constance is a daughter of the Nivelle house from the Adrestian Empire. Unfortunately, the house fell apart after a conflict just a few years ago. Somehow that led Constance to the Abyss, despite her high society ways. In fact, she seems very fond of her new home. Honestly, I think Ferdinand and her would get along quite well, as she tends to talk about the duties of a noble. As such, her dream is to revive the high stature of House Nivelle. She's always looking for ways to gain worldwide recognition. If you know your Japanese stereotypes, you'll immediately recognize Constance as an Ojo-sama. Demanding, bossy, rich girl who is somewhat arrogant, but not overbearingly so. But an Ojo-sama's defining quality is her signature laugh. If that's not your cup of tea, don't worry, she won't be doing this all the time. If Ojo-sama is right up your alley, well, at least you have something to look forward to. What I'm most excited about is her class. Finally, we get a magic-wielding Pegasus Knight, and I will abuse her class faster than you can. The spell she is casting is Fimbulfitter. Nailed it. A dark magic spell. Normally a A-rank level reason spell. Does this mean she is a flying version of a Dark Knight? Or will she have access to faith magic as well? I'm thinking the former. There's gotta be a reason why they brought Linhardt with them, besides him freaking out over crests. You have a crest. It's very likely Constance carries the crest of the House Nivelle family. That's just my speculation at this point. As such, what the crest looks like or what powers it holds, I do not know.
You're useless!
Thank you, yes, I know. One last thing I'll say about Constance, her outfit is pretty great. A strong use of black, frills to match her Ojo-sama personality, and the fan, peak nobility. However, I'm most impressed with her hair. The drills are one thing, but the inside is dyed purple. Where did she get her hair dye from anyway? How does she do that? Where in the abyss does she get her hair dye from? Do you even have to ask? The self-proclaimed Leicester's king of melee! Balthus is a bold, rowdy muscle man from the Leicester Alliance. But don't let his abs fool you. Those are high society abs. Oh, absolutely! Despite being a noble from the Alliance, Balthus is a fugitive, hiding from, I'm not sure. The Alliance? Tax collectors? The church? What better place to hide than right under their noses? Well, whoever he's running from, Balthus probably picked a fight with the wrong people and ended up in hiding. He's definitely the Aniki of the group. Hardy, careless, and quick to throw the first punch, but also loyal, willing to do absolutely anything for the people of the Abyss for taking him in when he was on the run. He also enjoys giving intruders a good beatdown. Good day, dwellers of the Abyss. We come bearing gifts and good news from Lady Rhea herself. Effective immediately. The sins and crimes of those who dwell in the Abyss shall all be forgiven. To celebrate, we shall hold a feast.
Intruders! I'll show you why they call me the king of melee!
No, please.
You won't get away that easy.
Dear Sothis, please.
Here comes a giant fist!
No.
Adrian! Whew. Don't worry, guys. The Abyss is safe.
I want to grow up just like him.
Coming as a surprise to no one, Balthus' favorite weapon is the gauntlets. He's a grappler of sorts. I wouldn't be surprised if this was another new class, but since we only see him using gauntlets, I can't say for sure. Although in his art he is holding an axe, so then again that's pretty common for a grappler. Based on his outfit, however, I'd say faith magic is a possibility. Robes usually indicate some sort of efficiency with magic, and no other melee fighters have robes like this, if I'm not mistaken. Granted, as always, I'm just taking a stab in the dark and have nothing to confirm that. What we can confirm is that he has a crest, since he has the ability to wield a hero relic. called Vajra Mushti, which in the real world is a form of Indian wrestling. Go figure. We can also see a new combat art in action called Pneuma Gale, activating some kind of wind punching magic. I assume this is a combat art unique to Vajra Mushti. This also confirms that Balthus is Team Pneuma. Why pick one when you can have all three? Of all the Abyss students, he looks the most like a wild animal. His design exudes this tough guy energy, as if he's always looking for the next scrap. His abs are also very intimidating. Or exhilarating. Whatever floats your boat. Somewhat unrelated, him standing next to Hilda here makes me wonder if Balthus knew her family, or specifically Hilda's brother. Could there be some juicy backstory there? I don't know. One last thing, Balthus also seems to have a bone to pick with Claude. Not sure if that's because he knows Claude personally, or just general hatred for the Alliance. Either way, their relationship could be fun to watch. Hoppy is anything but happy, at least at first. I'm sure she'll open up as time goes on. For now, her apathy for life is as blatant as the blank expression on her face. She seems rather disinterested in everything around her, but she does join the other Ashen Wolves in protecting their home. Despite her apparent apathy, however, Hoppy is quite opinionated in her own way. For example, in the trailer, she asks Yuri why she has to go since they're all going to die anyway. Nice positivity. And then in a separate video on Twitter, she touches on her dislike for church folk and how she likes Byleth the way they are. That's very sweet of you, Hoppy. Gold star. Also, after finally seeing her smile, it really warms my heart. For someone who is supposed to be indifferent and somewhat expressionless, seeing her smile is like feeling the warmth of the sun breaking through a cloudy day. Her smile must be the prime source of warmth in the Abyss.
Oh man, it's freezing today. Quick, someone make Hoppy smile. That's better.
As to why she's living in the Abyss, well, it has something to do with her unique constitution. And yes, those quotation marks are necessary, because even the Japanese Twitter used them, implying it's something more than just having a frail body. Maybe she's incredibly ripped. That said, I think it might have something to do with how powerful her magic is, which could mean she has a large crest. But that's just me speculating. Her unit class is similar to a Dark Knight in that she's a horse rider with reason magic, except she mainly uses dark magic. Dark magic was restricted to male-only classes in the main campaign for the most part, so it would be neat to see Hoppy be a female with mainly dark magic. Am I a joke to you? You know, the more I learn about Hoppy, the more I like her. Sure, we don't know a lot about her backstory, but her personality so far is almost endearing. For example, this image posted on Twitter says, say it again so that it's a little easier for us to understand. That's hilarious and relatable. I can't wait to see more Hoppy moments like this. Hold on, am I getting excited? Do I sense another Three Houses waifu?
She will make a fine addition to my collection.
Hoppy may have been the last Ashen Wolf, but there is one more character for us to review. A priest from the Church of Seros, Alfard watches over the Abyss on behalf of the church.
Alfard.
According to him, the Abyss used to be a sketchy place, filled with criminals and poverty, so he took it upon himself to guide the people. Now the Abyss enjoys relative order compared to what it once was. Because of that, the people of Abyss trust Alfard, even though they despise the Church of Seros. He was also the one who suggested creating the Ashen Wolves as a fourth house. We can hear him in the trailer pleading with Byleth to teach the Ashen Wolves, showing that he cares deeply for them. Interestingly, he says the Ashen Wolves are all made up of former students, but so far we only know for sure that Yuri was expelled. That said, I'm pretty sure we can trust what Alfard is saying, so that means Constance was kicked out because of the family conflict, Balthus was made a fugitive despite being a student, and Hoppy probably freaked everyone out with her constitution. There's really not much we know about Alfard, besides his calm and forgiving nature, but I did look more into his name. Alfard is a name for a star, similar to Seros and Sothis, both being different names for the same star, Sirius. Alfard doesn't have anything to do with Sirius, however, instead being part of the Hydra constellation, also known as the Water Snake. Not sure if that means anything, but food for thought. I am pretty confident he's not a dragon, however, since he doesn't have green hair or eyes. I guess what I'm trying to say is, there might be more to Alfard than meets the eye.
Don't blame me if he turns out to be the bad guy of this side story.
Now let's try to piece together what we can find in the Abyss. Obviously, there are multiple floors to this secret area, but I wonder if it's really deep or really wide. I'm thinking wide with at least 2 floors. Before Byleth starts talking to Hoppy here in this video, we can see a bit of the map, a larger hall, and then a hallway that leads to 3 different areas. I can't say exactly where these paths lead, but I wouldn't be surprised if the library was to the left, the marketplace was at top, and the classroom was over to the right. Honestly, it's hard to tell with all these small hallways. We see the marketplace in the middle of the trailer. In it we have a blacksmith, some item shops, fairly standard affair. This storage room is actually the Ashen Wolves classroom. So that's where all my junk went. We can see a chalkboard and tables being used for studying, confirming that this is the classroom. This room here with the chandelier is hard for me to place without an accurate map, but perhaps this is the main hall, and the second floor is where the Ashen Wolves' rooms are. I guess the nobility are spoiled even in the Abyss, although I feel bad for whoever has that middle room. Throughout Abyss, we find statues of divine priests, plus a statue of Seros. This does prompt a question. Why? Did Rhea get tired of seeing her likeness and put her statue in storage? And what about the map with statues of Indek and Sethlene? Did they make an influx of statues? Do the people of Abyss build them at the church's request? At this point, I'm providing more questions than answers, so let's move on.
If you could find it in your heart to take them under your wing, I would be most grateful.
And now for some tiny details that probably really don't matter. Thankfully, this will be shorter than before. As you progress through the side story, students from the Ashen Wolves will start to appear in the main campaign. Once you reach certain requirements, you'll be able to recruit them to your house. The new students will also have paralogs and supports in the main campaign. You'll even be able to see their Phase 2 glow-ups. Yes! Something that is different, however, is how the story progresses in Cindered Shadows. Instead of a mission at the end of the month, like in the main campaign, the side story will progress differently. I imagine it could be on a week-by-week basis, or even like traditional Fire Emblem, on a mission-by-mission basis. That also extends to leveling up and class changes. Normally, you can change classes as many times as you want in 3 houses. Not so in Cindered Shadows. Each student is given a fixed number of class changes they can have, as well as abilities they can learn. According to the Japanese Twitter, the focus for the side story is more about difficult puzzles and less about customization. So if you're yearning for a more classic Fire Emblem experience, look no further than Cindered Shadows. Of course, you'll be able to experience that 3 houses customization with the Ashen Wolves once you recruit them into the main campaign. The side campaign won't all take place in the Abyss, as we can see both Balthus and Hoppy fighting outdoors. Hoppy's location here, I'm not entirely sure where, although it does remind me a bit of the abandoned church where Gerald dies. Balthus's location, however, I have a more confident guess. With tall walls and the mountain range in the background, I'm guessing this is just outside the town of Garreg Mach. The fact that the golem is right here suggests that it's near the monastery. That said, is it the church that is controlling the golem? I'm not so sure. Balthus is fighting an enemy called Phantom Soldier. From what I can remember, and search on Google, the Phantom Soldiers only appeared when dealing with monsters like the Wandering Beast. Granted, I doubt there will be a monster for every chapter. There is someone powerful summoning these soldiers. We can also see these phantoms in the Abyss fighting Constance, and outside the Abyss fighting Hoppy. Perhaps one of our main goals in Cindered Shadows will be finding the source of the Phantom Soldiers who keep pestering the Abyss.
They think they need a place like this for Garreg Mach to thrive.
Yeah, fine. We're the Ashen.
The last thing I want to bring up is Sothis and the religion of Abyss. Please note I will be grasping many straws in this final section. Bear with me. First, let's go back to the banner for the Ashen Wolves. This symbol of a giant wolf protecting a planet might be nothing more than a symbol, but what if there is meaning behind it? Remember how Sothis and Seros are 2 names for the same star, Sirius? Interestingly, Sirius is commonly referred to as the dog star. Couldn't a dog be also interpreted as a wolf? Alphard at one point explains his reasoning for calling the 4th house Ashen Wolves, saying the name was inspired by the beast that protects the Blue Sea Star. If you go back to the intro to chapter 4 of 3 Houses, the Blue Sea Star is the home of the goddess Sothis. Maybe Alphard is implying that Sothis is the beast protecting the Blue Sea Star, her home. Now, could the Abyss be Sothis's true home? There are ancient ruins in the Abyss, so maybe it's been around before the Church of Seros. But according to the Fodlan mythology, the Blue Sea Star is in the sky. That's what stars do. But if her home is on a star, how did Sothis get to Fodlan? I don't like where you're going with this. Did she fall from the sky, crash landing into Foldin? Stop before it's too late! What if Sothis is an alien? Okay, that's it. I'm done. Have a nice life. Have fun theorizing about aliens. Never gonna happen. Goodbye. In all seriousness, Sothis could have originated from another planet, discovered Foldin, and created a new colony here, if you will. But that does seem a little ridiculous. Mark that down as 1% chance of happening. Another possibility is Foldin mythology is not accurate. Shocker. And the true blue sea star, aka Sothis' home, is here in Foldin, maybe originally the Abyss. We do know the children of this goddess lived in Zanado for a time, but Zanado is near Garrick Mach, so perhaps the Abyss and Zanado are connected in some way. Another meaning to Alfart's poetic symbol could be that the Ashen Wolves are protecting the blue sea star, Sothis' home. So maybe in Cindered Shadows, we are the ones protecting Sothis, and Sothis is in the Abyss. I really don't have anything to prove that, but one thing that could prove that theory true is this room in the Abyss, the Heathen Altar. Or that's how I translate it at least. The actual Japanese is Ikkyo no Saidan, and I translate that as Heathen Altar. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. When I first saw this place in the trailer, I assumed it was a statue of Sothis as an adult, sitting on her throne. But with a name like the Heathen Altar, I'm not so sure. There seems to be an action you can take at the altar, but who knows what that could be? Maybe some sort of stat building? There's also a blue-greenish light glowing behind the statue, something that doesn't happen anywhere else in the Abyss. Is it a special colored flame? Could it have something to do with the Dragon Lolly room, or even the blue sea star? Your guess is as good as mine. Either way, the people of the Abyss offer prayers to it, so who are they worshipping? A different goddess? The same goddess Sothis, but not in the same manner as the church? Some guy named Bob? Well, whatever the answer may be, we can be certain of one thing. It'll be a dragon. And with that, this deep dive is over. I'm sure there are loads of details still out there that I haven't covered, but with so little time remaining, I had to stop somewhere. Forgive me if my predictions are totally off base, but I do think we found some pretty good leads. In the end, I hope Cindered Shadows becomes a satisfying expansion to a tremendous game. Not only should it add upon my Game of the Year, I hope it improves it. The $25 for the DLC has been a little steep so far, but I'm hoping Wave 4 will make it all worth it. That said, the entire Three Houses cycle has been a crazy ride. It's amazing to think about where we were a year ago in terms of Three Houses news to where we are right now. No matter what happens with Cindered Shadows, Three Houses has been a fantastic ride, and the future only looks brighter for Fire Emblem. Man, I can't believe Cindered Shadows made it just in time for Valentine's Day. Nothing like spending February 14th with the ones you love. Just me, my waifus, and Sanic. I'm so lonely. Thank you so much for watching. What are your predictions for Cindered Shadows? Are my theories too crazy to be true? Let me know in the comments below. This will likely be the last Three Houses deep dive ever, so thank you for sticking around for so long. If you liked what you saw, then please subscribe for more. We have tons of new content coming out, including a live stream of the DLC on the 12th. Be sure to come see that. Also, because we have some new waifu potential, Three Houses Waifu Battle Royale will be pushed back. I'm sorry, I want to make sure it's fair for everyone. And with that, I bid you adieu.
Goodbye, you good people.